When do you need to tell stories for business impact or even with business impact?
One of the places where I see stories making a big difference is when our very analytical friends are encouraged or invited to turn it into story form.
Yeah, yeah, that is a big one.
I think it most often comes when we're at the end of like a large program or maybe a multi-month program. And so
Yeah,
it's been a journey. So it's really great to kind of help summarize that in a story
yeah,
format.
So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to say the first iteration is not going to be the finished product. Dustin will tell you he went through it around a dozen times before he got to the finished product of what he ended up with.
Susan, how are you? You said yes, and I know you were the one who said, "Hey, is anyone using it?"
Well, I use it for a couple of things. One is building out a notebook with as a knowledge repository and then attaching it to an AI coach and then giving the AI coach a script on how to
Mm,
lead people through the concepts they need to learn or activities, and they can draw on that whole notebook for information, and also the specific activities are in there. Now,
mm.
if I didn't have Notebook LM, which I love, I can tell Edward loves it as much as I do, then I would probably just think about whatever kind of folder system you have being very organized and getting your files in those folders so you can attach them to whatever AI engine you're using so you can do analysis on that content.
So like I think about the initial framing of this, like you had the client that went, I forget it was 3x or 5x the deal size. What was the feeling prior to sharing this? Like it's one thing if they are enthusiastic and then this is a reason them to say like, oh yes, this is an example of what we're enthusiastic about. It's an entirely different scenario if they're coming in really skeptical and this is something that changed their perception of the engagement. And so I'd love to hear a little bit more about that piece of it.
Yeah, I think it's a really thoughtful question because I think AI we're tempted to make it out to be some kind of like magic button or easy button or even the cherry on top. But I think in reality, this was just one piece of a really robust partnership. And like there was already so much good already happening.
So, Anton, it's a good skeptic's point of view. I think what we're looking at is AI isn't replacing that human connection of story. It's just expediting the process to generate the story, and then it still has to be delivered human to human.
What about like hallucinations? I mean, AI can hallucinate facts, and if we start pulling these into business stories, like we could have legal issues or a PR nightmare here. If people are just going off of what AI is generating for them.
We're really kind of fine lining what the expectations are. We
Yeah,
have the tools, we have the data, and we're really emphasizing these are the key components that I want to utilize. This is the data. And like I said, we're not putting the person out of the loop. I'm going in there and verifying. I'm
yeah,
having
Mm.
my coworkers go and verifying
right.
the data. Dustin's verifying the content. So what this is doing, it's allowing us to create our thoughts, present those thoughts, and because of the imagery, because of the way that we're presenting it, it's different than what they are expecting. That
Yeah.
difference is getting more visual feedback, it's getting more readability. I can tell you firsthand that doing graphics like this have improved the amount of people reading our newsletters
Mm, yeah.
tremendously because it's not the same old thing.